creador de instituciones, bloguero, pero también escritor, activista y desde luego fotógrafo, que nos muestra 50 imágenes para conmemorar 50 años de relación entre México y Bangladesh. Shahidul Alam. Thank you very much for this interview. And for the photographs, for the images, what is the span of these images? What are you showing? What is the line of this exhibition?
It actually spans my entire career, if you like. The earliest picture is from the early 80s when I began my photography, before I'd become a professional photographer. The reason I got into photography was because I recognized the power of the medium. The fact that images could be used so powerfully, but also because at that time, certainly, though it's even true today to an extent, many of the people in my country could not read or write, but the images spoke, and there was this very rich tradition of using images. That also had to do with issues of identity and representation. The fact that people from countries like Bangladesh, which I call majority world countries, are largely portrayed by white Western photographers who come over and they tell our story through their eyes. And I felt there was a different story to be told, which only local storytellers could tell. So that's when we started the agency Tariq. As we went along, we knew we were in a fight against social inequality, against imperialism, and a whole range of things like that.
How do you find freedom of expression, especially for journalists, photojournalists nowadays, and given the fact that some of these colleagues have died in war?
Well, it's freedom after expression that's more the problem. Certainly what you're talking about is very relevant today. Right now, what is happening in Palestine is something that is unimaginable. And the fact that the world allows it to happen. And of course, one knows why journalists are specifically being targeted. That is also why I was targeted in my own country, because we are able to speak the truth, and it is a truth that these regimes try to deny.
The imagination is perhaps the starting point for conceiving liberty and freedom. How do you find education nowadays in this area, in the area of human rights and freedom of expression?
It's a question of power structures, and often all the tools are at the disposal of the powerful elite, and they will use education in the same way. So a lot of what is done in education is to create more workers for the elite, as opposed to creating conscious citizens who can challenge and question. Sadly, our education system, and across the globe, education systems do exactly the opposite of what they're meant to do. They're meant to inculcate critical thinking. They're meant to give space to people who question. Yet, much of education is designed towards conformity and creating robots.